pen is mightier than the sword. A great quote from a well known person in the 1800s, Edward Byler Lytton. But I don't think it's been fully understood by the masses just how powerful the pen is. It is so powerful that when used correctly, you will stop all the harassment that is happening to you. So we find it a lot easier to pick up the phone. And what happens? We vent our spleen at the poor old receptionist on the other end of the line, give them grief, and then we feel a lot better instead of writing a letter. Okay, now there is a reason we've been trained to do this. Get it off your chest as quick as you can. However, the establishment rely on this, and they know for a fact that there's no record. It's only hearsay. It's only our word against theirs. Whereas the establishment keep wonderful records. They make sure that everything is recorded and kept in their archives. So we're going to have to take a different approach when we, instead of when we get attacked, we're going to use the pen. And I'm going to show you now all the little tricks of the trade so that they will listen to you. So with a letter, we're going to have it stamped and witnessed, and there is a reason for this, because we've now invoked the post office. Now the post office is the seat of government. If you go to Bovier's online law dictionary and look up post office, you will see that it is the seat of government. And tampering with the mail is an indictable offence, so they won't. So once we learn these little tricks, which I'm going to show you, they will listen to you. Your pen will become so powerful. Okay, so let's look at the key features of our letter are going to be, we have reduced it to writing. Well, what does that mean exactly? In legal parlance, reduced to writing is a term of art that simply means that something, usually evidence of an agreement of some kind, is in writing as opposed to oral. Now, when we see is a term of art, that means you will never find exactly what it means, but in the legal fraternity, a term of art is very important. So when we reduce it to writing, and this will come up more and more, you'll see very powerful court cases in contract law where the judge says it was not reduced to writing. Okay, very important to know. The stamp we're going to cover next, and we'll also cover witness. So these are the three things that we're going to be looking at when we do our letter. We've reduced it to writing. We will cover the stamp and we'll cover witness next. So stamp, witness, and reduced to writing. Very, very important. Okay, so once again, I've already mentioned Bovier's Law Dictionary. It's free. You can go online and just type in Bovier's Law Dictionary and this will come up. So we'll look at stamp and see what it means. Oh, my goodness, revenue. An impression made on paper by order of the government, which must be used in reducing certain contracts to writing. Once again, I've told you the importance of reducing it to writing. And the stamp, the revenue, means that we have paid our consideration and the letter or the contract has been reduced to writing. So let's look a little further at the stamp. The Stamp and Check Duties Act 1971 has, for the most part, it's been repealed. There are a few sections left in there, but there is another act that we can use, and that's the Bills of Exchange Act 1908. This is going to give us a few clues, because this act has largely remained intact since 1908, for over 100 years. There have been a few minor changes because of the internet and so on, but it's the only way that commerce works is through this Act and the Mercantile Law Act. But this Act is the most important for us. Okay, so we will have a look at Section 20 of the Bills of Exchange Act, and we see inchoate instruments, where a simple signature on a blank stamped paper is delivered by the signer in order that it may be converted into a bill. It operates as a prima facie authority to fill it up as a complete bill for any amount the stamp will cover. There we go, the stamp will cover. The revenue will cover. So what, may I ask, is inchoate instruments? Inchoate means something that is partially complete. In other words, it means something that has begun but has not been completed. Okay, so it virtually means, we'll look at the back of our letter. We've written a letter, and then we'll look at the back of it, and that's what it looks like. It's inchoate. It's just a blank piece of paper. So there's certain things that we need to do, 3 in fact, and the first one is that we will place a stamp there. We'll place a 5-cent stamp down there, and then we're going to deface it. We're going to put our signature or our initials across it, half on, half off, so that if someone removes the stamp, then you've got half the signature there. And then we must put the date that we defaced the stamp, once again 45 degrees, half on, half off the stamp. Now that can't be tampered with. And trust me guys, this absolutely works 100%. Now we're going to move on to the witness. And once again, we'll go to the good book, Matthew 18:16. But if they will not listen, and I hear that all the time, oh, they don't take any notice, they don't listen to me. They will when you follow this procedure. Why don't they listen? Because you haven't been doing these things. So you have not invoked what they need to listen to you. But if they will not listen, take 1 or 2 others along, so that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. So when we finish writing our letter, and I'm not going to cover writing the letter in this presentation, because I've done a few others which you can go back and look at, the letter writing part of it, but this is how we do it. AB, householder of Timbuktu. CD, householder of Timbuktu. And John Henry. Now you'll notice that I got A, B, C, D, E, F there. Once again, the dates are important there, but so is the A, B, C, D, and E, F. Why? Why indeed? So once again, we'll go to the Bills of Exchange Act 1908. This is how all commerce is done, folks. This and the Mercantile Law Act is how all commerce is done. Where a dishonoured bill, and Section 95, where a dishonoured bill or note is authorised or required to be protested, and the services of a notary cannot be obtained. Now, we do not want a notary, a JP, or a High Court judge, or any one of these people signing our forms, because the moment they do, they come over the top of us. In other words, they have nullified our forms. So you get your 2 best friends, if you've got any, and get them to sign as A, B, and C, D. Now the form given in Schedule 2, if you can see there, this form given in Schedule 2 can be used. So we'll go to Schedule 2 of the Bills of Exchange Act, and here's where we get our A, B, C, D. Know all people that I, A, B, of Timbuktu, at the request of C, D. Okay, so now we've got the A, B, C, D, E, F. We've got our witnesses. This is straight from their acts. So now that we have the witnesses, we can move on to what the real meaning of this presentation is. And I know many of you have watched these videos before, and I always say don't go to court. So now I'm going to give you the reason that I never go to court, because I follow their rules. And so if you go to the High Court Rules 2016, section 1.3, which is the interpretation, you have received in the mail an invitation. They may call it a summons, but it's really just an invitation for you to make an appearance. So you think an appearance is, oh, I've got to go along to the court. Well, it doesn't mean that at all. Appearance means a document. Pure and simple. Appearance means a document that states a person's address for service and reserving your rights under Rule 5.5. So when we write a letter, and we don't have to do a huge amount in that letter, but we reserve our rights and we have our address for service on it, bingo, we have made our appearance. We do not have to go down to the court. This is their rules, guys, not mine. I don't make these things up. I just show you that you haven't looked deep enough into their rules to find why you don't have to go to court. It tells you very simply there. And so why do we not attend court? Another reason, another very, very simple reason. Person, owner, and other words, expressions of the like kind include the Crown. Now, include. So, inclusio, unius inclusio alterius exclusio means the presumption of interpretation of statutes and other documents that if one thing is specified, other things which may be thought to be similar, they're excluded. So anything prior to the word include or includes doesn't mean a thing. It's only what follows include. So the Crown, public body, local authority, any board, society, company, body of persons, that's not us. We're not a person. So when you realize that you're not a person, why are you going to court when you've seen in both this act, which is the Crimes Act, which they can be held accountable for, and the previous High Court rules? We are not a person, and appearance simply means a document. So we're not a person, so why are we going to court? Okay, we're going to finish up now with some of the things that they're doing everything to try and stop the letters that we're putting in. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to courier one copy to the court. Now, what the system relies on is very good record keeping. So you're going to have the same sort of record keeping. Make sure that you keep a copy of the letter. Keep the courier slip and the delivery instructions from on the website. Secondly, I would take a copy down to the court. Now, they don't like you doing this. They don't like to take copies from your hand, but they must. So deliver a copy to the court. And the third thing I would do is I would email a copy to the court. Now, they're even blocking emails now, so, just be aware of all the little tricks they would do. Now, if you don't think that any of those are going to work, then you get a process server to do it for you. Now, the process server will swear an affidavit that he has delivered it. So hopefully, guys, that has made things a little bit more clearer, and you will stop running down to the court to make an appearance.